You turn my mourning into dancing. You turn my mourning into dancing. 'Cause your love changes everything. Your love changes everything. Oh, there's something about your love. Something about your love changes everything in my body. Oh, something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. It changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. Changes everything. Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything. You turn my mourning into dancing. 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 Something about your love. Something about your love changes everything.
Good morning, Rooted Men. Pastor Tom, Firmly Rooted Church. Good to have you on board. My daughter Stephanie spying on our men's devotion today. And by the way, she types at 700 miles per second. I don't know how she does that or whatever, but it should be timed. I'm just saying it should be timed. All right. I don't know where everybody is. Where is everybody? Man, I was hoping for a lot more guys today because we're going to do something that's tied to today for now till the end of the year. So I encourage you to share this devotion with all the guys that are firmly rooted or guys that you know. But let's say hi to those who are on board. Now I see some names popping. Okay, that was weird. Maybe the software was getting weird. All right. Well, I'm out there on X. Chuck B, good morning. Chris Connolly, good morning. Ken Gooch, good morning. Fellow Brothers in Arms. Bert Reggiani, good morning. All right, we're getting a few guys on here. Again, today's devotion, we're done with Ecclesiastes, and thank you for Steve for getting us into it and out of it. He did the last devotion. Thanks again to Steve for covering for me on Monday. Lots going on in the Donnelly Jackson family, but hey, good to have you. We're going to be looking at 2 Samuel 11, and we're just going to do the first 5 verses, and we'll go on from there. So let me add the reading, and let me put me inside of it like that, so it's a little bigger. All right. Let me go to the text, and we'll read these first 5 verses. So 2 Samuel chapter 11, I just want you all to know that we're in the latter, well, not latter, but we're in David's kingship now. He's actually the king. He's been winning wars and he's been winning battles, and they've been taking over more of the promised land and the territory. And so we're into his kingship, where I would say he starts to look and say, you know what, maybe I'm a pretty important guy, and maybe I don't need to go out to war anymore. Maybe I could just stay home in my palace. You see, I have a palace and I have all these wonderful things and great food, and I got great soldiers and generals that can fight. So I think I'll stay home. All right. And so listen to how chapter 11, verse 1 begins. In the spring of the year, the time when kings go out to battle. Notice that phrase from Samuel. A time when kings are supposed to go out to battle. David sent Joab, one of his generals, and his servants with him and all Israel. And they ravaged the Ammonites and besieged Rabbah, but David remained at Jerusalem. All one verse. Now, David was called a man after God's own heart. Are you sensing anything is missing? It's time for kings to go to war. He does not go to war. He chooses to stay back at the palace. What's missing? This writer of all the Psalms doesn't ask God whether such a big decision is the right one to make. He does what he thinks is right. He does what feels right to him. And he stays back in Jerusalem. Doesn't look like any big deal. I mean, look, he's done his fair share of fighting and winning. The problem is he just didn't ask God. And secondly, maybe his motives weren't as pure as maybe ours aren't as pure as they ought to be sometimes. Hence, this devotion is going to talk about one of David's biggest failures, one of his biggest failures in life. And I want to challenge all of us as we end 2025 to do some introspection at ourselves. And maybe we need to do some David-like repenting and changing. So it happened late one afternoon when David rose from his couch. Wait a minute. He arose from his couch and it's in the afternoon. Just somebody tell me what kind of life David's living right now. And he was walking along the rooftop of the king's house, and he saw from the roof a woman bathing, and the woman was very beautiful. I know none of you know what's going on here, but it's happening. The enemy's using this decision that David made on his own without asking God. And Satan knows what his motive is. He has heard it in whispers. He is seeing it in the actions, and all of a sudden, boom. David sent and inquired about the woman. And one said, is this not Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam? Listen, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? So he got the news that she's not available because she's married to one of your soldiers who's out there fighting. So David sent messengers and took her. I guess he's king. And she came to him, and he lay with her. Now she had been purifying herself from her uncleanness. Then she returned to her house, and the woman conceived, and she sent a note to David saying, I am pregnant. This whole scenario works out in a lot of different ways. This doesn't have to be about sexuality. It could be about money. It could be about pride, arrogance. But gentlemen, we've all faced this stepping stone, this process right here, where all of a sudden we're believing that we're going to do something that's not going to have that big of a deal. It's not going to make that big of an impact. Come on, it's just this one thing. It's just this one time. Nobody knows. Until the curtain gets opened and all of a sudden, I'm pregnant. That investment's done. We could go on and on. Let me go back to here, pull myself out. Hey, John Carson. So the journey's this. We're going to follow David right now. And as you all know, it's not going to go well. And we'll end this year by reading Psalm 51, which is his repentant psalm after this situation took place. And I'm hoping what it does is going through this and relating to David and maybe having to do some of the things that David did to recorrect his course and recorrect his life. Maybe we could think of some of those things in a relationship that we're in, or how my relationship with kids are, or a family member, or how something at work, or guys, we got to do the introspection so that we can transform our lives and be more like Christ. And the way to do that is to be honest about the yucky stuff. So I'm encouraging you not to put it on the devotional notes as we're going, but in your own notes every single day. What is it that God wants you to die to this end of this year and leave at the cross and go into 2026 with that chain broken? All right. I'm going to leave it at that. Share this devotion with some other men. We're going to be on this all the way until the 31st. So let's go on this journey together. Blessings on your day. Make it a firmly rooted day, and may someone see Jesus in us today. Peace.